Have you ever wondered how nutrients enter your cells? Or how waste leaves them? Every second, trillions of cells inside your body are constantly moving materials across their membranes. Oxygen enters. Carbon dioxide exits. Water flows in and out. Nutrients travel to where they are needed. This amazing process is called cellular transport. Without cellular transport, cells could not survive. In today's video, we will explore what cellular transport is, why it is important, the structure of the cell membrane, passive transport, active transport, osmosis and diffusion, endocytosis and exocytosis, real-life examples in the human body. By the end of this video, you will fully understand how cells control what enters and leaves them. Let us begin. Cellular transport is the movement of substances into and out of a cell. Cells need materials such as oxygen-glycemic acids. At the same time, they must remove waste products such as carbon dioxide excess, salts, toxic substances. But here is the challenge. The cell is surrounded by a protective barrier called the cell membrane. The membrane acts like a gatekeeper. It decides what enters the cell, what leaves the cell, and what stays outside. This property is called selective permeability. That means the membrane allows some substances to pass while blocking others. Structure of the cell membrane. To understand cellular transport, we first need to understand the cell membrane. The cell membrane is mainly made of a phospholipid bilayer. Each phospholipid has a hydrophilic head that loves water, a hydrophobic tail that repels water. The hydrophilic heads face outward toward water. The hydrophobic tails face inward, away from water. This arrangement creates a flexible barrier. Embedded within the membrane are proteins. These proteins help transport substances across the membrane. Some proteins form channels. Others act like pumps. The membrane also contains cholesterol for stability, carbohydrates for cell recognition. Scientists describe this structure using the fluid mosaic model. Fluid because the membrane moves. Mosaic because many different molecules are embedded in it. Types of cellular transport. There are two major categories of cellular transport: passive transport, active transport. The main difference is energy. Passive transport does not require energy. Materials move naturally. Active transport requires cellular energy. Materials move against the natural direction. Let us begin with passive transport. Passive transport is the movement of substances across the membrane without using cellular energy. Substances move from areas of high concentration to areas of low concentration. This movement follows something called the concentration gradient. Think about perfume sprayed in one corner of a room. At first, the smell is concentrated in one place. Soon, the particles spread throughout the room. That natural spreading process is similar to passive transport. There are three major types: simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, osmosis. Simple diffusion. Diffusion is the movement of molecules from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. No energy is required. Small molecules can pass directly through the membrane. Examples include oxygen, carbon dioxide, small lipids. For example, when you breathe in oxygen, the concentration of oxygen is higher in the lungs than in the blood. So oxygen diffuses into the blood. At the same time, carbon dioxide diffuses out of the blood into the lungs. This process keeps your body alive. Factors affecting diffusion include temperature, concentration difference, phase, a resize of molecules. Higher temperature increases movement. Greater concentration differences increase diffusion speed. Smaller molecules diffuse faster. Facilitated diffusion. Some substances are too large or too charged to cross the membrane directly. They need help from transport proteins. This process is called facilitated diffusion. It still does not require energy. The molecules move from high concentration to low concentration, but they pass through special protein channels or carrier proteins. Examples include glucosides such as sodium and potassium. Imagine trying to enter a secure building. You may need a special access card. Transport proteins work like those access systems. They allow only certain substances to pass. Osmosis is a special type of diffusion. It is the movement of water across a selectively permeable membrane. Water moves from an area of high water concentration to an area of low water concentration. Or we can say, water moves from low solute concentration to high solute concentration. Let us understand three important solutions. Hypotonic solution. A hypotonic solution has less solute outside the cell. Water enters the cell. Animal cells may burst. Plant cells become firm because of turgor pressure. Hypertonic solution. A hypertonic solution has more solute outside the cell. Water leaves the cell. Animal cells shrink. Plant cells undergo plasmolysis. Isotonic solution. An isotonic solution has equal solute concentration. Water moves equally in both directions. The cell remains normal. This is extremely important in medicine. For example, doctors use isotonic saline solutions during intravenous injections. If the solution were too concentrated or too diluted, blood cells could shrink or burst. Active transport. Now, let us move to active transport. Active transport requires energy. Usually, the energy comes from ATP, the cell's energy molecule. In active transport, substances move against the concentration gradient. That means, they move from low concentration to high concentration. This is like pushing a ball uphill. Energy is required. Cells use protein pumps to carry out active transport. One famous example is the sodium-potassium pump. This pump moves sodium ions out of the cells, potassium ions into the cell. This process is essential for nerve impulses, muscle contraction, maintaining cell balance. Without active transport, your nervous system could not function properly. Bulk transports of materials are too large to pass through transport proteins. Cells use bulk transport to move these substances. There are two types: endocytosis, exocytosis, endocytosis. And endocytosis, the cell membrane folds inward to bring materials into the cell. There are different forms. Phagocytosis means eating. The cell engulfs large particles. White blood cells use phagocytosis to destroy bacteria. Pinocytosis, pino, means drinking. The cell takes in liquids and dissolves substances. Exocytosis is the opposite process. Materials inside vesicles are released outside the cell. Examples include hormone secretion, neurotransmitter release, removal of wastes when nerve cells communicate. Neurotransmitters are released through exocytosis. Cellular transport. In real life, a cellular transport happens constantly inside your body. Here are some real-life examples. In the lungs, oxygen diffuses into blood. Carbon dioxide diffuses out. In the intestines, nutrients are absorbed into the bloodstream. In plant roots, root hair cells absorb minerals using active transport. In kidney cells, important substances are reabsorbed. Waste materials are removed. In nerve cells, sodium-potassium pumps generate electrical signals. Without cellular transport, life would stop. Comparison of passive and active transport. Let's compare passive and active transport. Passive transport, no energy required, moves from high to low concentration, includes diffusion. Osmosis, facilitated diffusion. Active transport, tech wires, ATP energy, moves from low to high concentration, uses protein pumps. The key difference is energy and direction. Common exam questions. Let us review some common biology questions. Question 1. What is diffusion? Answer: the movement of molecules from high concentration to low concentration. Question 2. Does osmosis require energy? Answer: no. Question 3. Which transport process uses ATP? Answer: active transport. Question 4. What is the function of the sodium-potassium pump? Answer: it moves sodium out and potassium into the cell. Question 5. What is selective permeability? Answer: the ability of the membrane to allow some substances to pass while blocking others. Let's summarize what we learned. Cellular transport is the movement of substances across the cell membrane. The cell membrane is selectively permeable. Passive transport does not require energy. Diffusion moves molecules from high to low concentration. Osmosis is the movement of water. Facilitated diffusion uses transport proteins. Active transport require energy from cell in the form of ATP.